to my channel. I am Laurel Dreams ASMR. If you've never seen me before, I do a lot of whisper rambles, close-up whisper, lots of other kinds of videos. Honestly, there's a lot. I cover a lot of ground. And you can also find other types of videos on my Patreon or members page. I would recommend Patreon. It is quite easy to use. And I also will be doing a live stream, ASMR live stream every month. So go check out my Patreon in the description. I'm going to be doing a lot of personal attention role plays only on Patreon. Today we have another exciting video that I told you already that I'm going to do. Today I'm going to be telling you all the books that I want to read in 2023. So my 2023 TBR. If you're not on BookTube, it basically means to be read. And I have really been getting into reading lately, obviously because of all this popularity on BookTube and BookTok. And also, I just finished school and I'm gonna do a story time on that. And if you want, I can do a university stories video, just reminisce back and share some of the stuff that went down. Some I might share on Patreon because they're wild, but some are appropriate. Here, I can give you advice on university and stuff, but I just finished my master's. I'm not fully, it didn't fully set in yet. I haven't really experienced this excitement and relief of being done because I don't know my grade yet, but I passed everything. So it's done. It's over. No more masters. Anyways, you let me know if you wanna hear me talk about that later or in the comments. And today we're gonna talk about books and all that good stuff. I thought I would also be chewing a gum while I am talking since you love that, and my throat will not get super sore because if I am talking for a really long period, this vocal cords literally hurt. First, we're going to look through the Goodreads Readers' Most Anticipated Books of 2023 because I think some of the books that I want to read are already in this list. And I'm not gonna go through the whole list. You can check that out yourself if you want. But I'm just gonna, pick out a couple of them. Some of them looked very interesting. And maybe add them to my TBR. And it is in sections. So first we're gonna look at the fiction. And let me know if you have any recommendations for me. I really love fiction, mysteries, and literary fiction. So first one is it just came out because I saw it on my local Waterstones, the window display that they do. And it is called Really Good, actually, by Monica Hazy, I think. And it is described as US cover has like, you know, the character and like her hair and stuff. We have Hello Beautiful by Anne Napolitano, and it is described as in this anticipated follow-up to her 2020 bestseller, so this is the second book. Dear Edward, author Anne Napolitano introduces young couple Julia Padavano and William Waters, who seem to have that most coveted of blessings, a shot at real happiness. But when darkness from William's past threatens Julia and her family, we're asked to consider the uncomfortable question: can love really overcome anything? Mystery and thrillers, so we're not, you know, spending a lot of time, because I will also share what I want to read with you. The first one, Age of Vice by Deepti Kapoor. 5 people are dead in the surreal aftermath of a violent 3 a.m. incident in New Delhi. From here, author Deepti Kapoor's sprawling crime fiction epic only gets deeper and darker. A profile of the feared Wadia crime family, Age of Vice promises action and intrigue, romance and betrayal, wealth and corruption, all set in the shadowy corners of contemporary India. That sounds so good. It is just released as well. I might wait for the new ones to come on paperback or go on sale, because I already have a lot of books that are physical, like I showed you in my physical TBR. I'll put it up here. I think it's up here, or up here. I think it's up here. Go watch that if you haven't, but I'll show you all the physical copies that I have. So I need to finish those first. And another one that I've been seeing all over the place, like in the bookshop, is called All the Dangerous Things by Stacey Willingham. And it's described as Isabel Drake hasn't slept in a year. Aside from strange blackouts, she's been in a state of severe insomnia since her toddler was stolen from his crib in the middle of the night. As the case turns cold, Isabel turns to a shady true crime podcaster for help. That's when things really get dark in this tense thriller. From Stacey Willingham, who is also the writer of A Flicker in the Dark. Now this one is kind of like, it reminds me of the Only Murders in the Building, where Selena and the 2 other guys, I'm sorry I don't remember their names, but it's like a show on Disney Plus or another channel in America, where they start their own podcast, like investigating murders in their building. And this really reminded me of that, because it's kind of a very similar, like a shady true crime podcaster, kind of like trying to help, but like, what if the podcaster is like behind that, maybe like to create content for his podcast? That would be crazy. That would be a good plot. Yeah, that sounds nice. Let's move on to fantasy, and this book is in my TBR, and I want to read the first one as well. But this is apparently the sequel, and it is Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo. And I'm sure if you read Book Talk or BookTube, you heard about Leigh Bardugo many times, but she is a great author. I think she wrote Six of Crows, and that was amazing. So this is called Hellbent, and it's the sequel of Ninth House. And the character Alex Stern is tasked with retrieving a soul from beyond the gates of the underworld. Expect sinister artifacts, eldritch tomes, several of them actually. It all adds up to a marriage with issues. That sounds great. That comes out in February. On Valentine's Day, actually. Let's see. What else do we have? Like science fiction. I don't really read science fiction. I haven't read since I was a kid, but we have The Deep Sky by Yume Kitase. In this sci-fi thriller debut, a mission into deep space begins with a lethal explosion that leaves the survivors questioning the loyalty of the crew. On the eve of Earth's environmental collapse, a single ship carries humanity's last hope, 80 graduates of an elite program, but halfway to a distant but livable planet, a bomb detonates and suspicions spiral out of control. That sounds great, but it does not release until July 18th, so that's something to look forward to. And then we have horror. There's a couple that is going to be released in February. It really doesn't like strike me as too like my type, but for example, this one called How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix is about a pair of siblings being forced to sell a home when their parents die, and then the house is basically, you know, as it says, haunted. And this is apparently a horror and kind of like a comedy, like a dark comedy. And it's like, did they cover all the mirrors? And why is the attic door nailed shut? So there are some secrets in this house, so that sounds interesting. But the other ones, I don't know. I need to like fully like get into that, like read maybe a couple of pages and see if I like the writing. We have a lot of like non-fiction. There's one called Wolfish, and it is by Erica Berry. Wolfish, Wolf, Self, and the Stories We Tell About Fear. By way of science, cultural criticism, and personal history, Berry explores the significance of the wolf in our society, in our art, and even in our dreams. It's kind of like, you need to be in that, like, you need to be, like, relaxed and not stressed from life enough to sit down and read a non-fiction, because, like, most of the time, the non-fictions, if it's not about, like, something happy, it's usually, like, requires more brain power. Like reading Three Women, I don't know, I talked about that book so many times, but it took me the longest to read, and it was like the most impactful, and that was non-fiction, but it was kind of like a story, kind of like it was written like as a story to, I guess, make the immersion to whatever was happening easier. But yeah, if that makes sense. Oh, and then we have romance, I'm sure. That's like a popular one for all the girls and the guys, maybe, if you're like a secret romantic. Honestly, I pretend I don't like romance, but it's like really cute, like whenever it happens, like on TV. Like, for example, I'm watching Grey's Anatomy right now, and two of the characters, like, I'm not gonna spoil it for you because it's like season 19. And yes, I did watch all of the 19 seasons, and I might have rewatched. I love that show, and two of the characters I like, kind of like, is it gonna happen? Like, will it want it? Like, it's driving me insane, and whenever something cute happens between them, I'm like, yes. But I never find myself outwardly going and buying romance, like cheesy romance books, because I think most of them are not that good, especially the ones that are, you know, very like popular. Which, nothing wrong with reading a bad book. I love watching bad TV and films, but I feel like that takes Charmaine Wilkerson. It won a Goodreads Choice Award and nominees for 2 other things. It is a fiction, historical fiction. It's contemporary mystery, and literary fiction, of course, which I love to read. So, we can't choose what we inherit, but can we choose who we become? In present-day California, Eleanor Bennett's death leaves behind a puzzling inheritance for her 2 children, Byron and Penny, a black cake made from a family recipe with a long history and a voice recording. In her message, Eleanor shares a tumultuous story about a headstrong young swimmer who escapes her island home under suspicion of murder. The heartbreaking tale Eleanor unfolds, the secrets she still holds back, and the mystery of a long-lost child challenge everything the siblings thought they knew about their lineage and themselves. Can Byron and Penny reclaim their once close relationship, piece together Eleanor's true history, and fulfill her final request to share the black cake when the time is right? Will their mother's revelations bring them back together, or leave them feeling more lost than ever? So this is Charmaine's first novel, and it is about a story of how the inheritance of betrayals, secrets, memories, and even names can shape relationships and history. So yeah, it is like a family drama, it seems like, and I love those. But I think it's always like a genre that entertains you and kind of like teaches you lessons and stuff through the characters, and I like that. So, moving on, we have How to Be Eaten by Mariah Adelman. And this is a fantasy fiction retelling horror contemporary adult fairy tale, blah blah blah. This is kind of like a modern fairy tale. She reimagined a couple of fairy tale characters as modern women in a support group for their past trauma. So we have 5 women who meet in a basement support group to process their trauma. It's set in New York City. We have Bernice, we have Ruby, Gretel, Ashley, and Raina. And they start out being very of one another. They judge each other's stories, but then they gradually begin to realize that they have more in common together than they have differences. And then they, kind of like find out like what really brought them together, what secrets will they reveal, and are they able to save each other basically from their trauma. It sounds nice. It's more like a heavy type of book, this one. The next one is like a very different vibe. If you don't know this about me, I really like League of Legends, and I have played it since 2015. I don't know, it's been a while. It's probably like 2014. It's been a very, very long time since I've started playing League. I really like it. I don't care, make fun of me. And there is a novel by this guy, Anthony Reynolds, and it's called Ruination, a League of Legends novel. And I want to read it. I'm so curious, like, what lore we can get out of it. I mean, if you haven't watched Arcane yet on Netflix, what are you waiting for? I was so excited to watch it when it came out. I was like, oh my god, this is going to be the best thing ever. And I was like, asking my boyfriend to watch it with me, and then the first time I like suggested it, he was like, a League of Legends like nice, and I love it. I love all of these characters in that world, so I'm very excited to read this. It's like the best fantasy. So, this is described as a novel that's set in the universe of League of Legends, and it is a tale of magic, revenge, and an empire on the verge of ruin. Camavor is a brutal land with a bloody legacy, where the Empire's knights go, slaughter follows. Callista, which is one of the characters, champions, seeks to change that. When her young and narcissistic uncle, Viego, which is another champion, becomes king, she vows to temper his destructive instincts, and as his loyal confidant, as advisor, and military general. But her plans are thwarted when an assassin's poisoned blade strikes Viego's wife Isolde, afflicting her with a malady for which there is no cure. As Isolde's condition worsens, Viego descends into madness and grief, threatening to drag Camavor down with him. Callista makes a desperate gambit to save the kingdom. She searches for the long-lost Blessed Isles, rumored to hold the Queen's salvation, if only Callista can find them. But corruption grows in the Blessed Isles capital, where a vengeful warden seeks to ensnare Callista in his cruel machinations, I don't know. She will be forced to choose between her loyalty to Viego and doing what she knows is right, for even in the face of utter darkness, one noble act can shine a light that saves the world. I'm so excited. It came out in September 2022. I think it has like an average 5 to 4 star rating. There's like 5 1-star ratings, which tells me that it's going to be a really good book. So I'm not like, I never go into books with like the best, like, oh my god, it's going to be world, mind-boggling and like changing my life. But I'm looking for it like, oh, it's going to be really fun, But yeah. So yeah. And somebody did say that you don't need to have a previous experience with like the game or, the world to read the book. So I feel like they will like explain and immerse you into the story. I want to share like something that you might not have found yourself. So I discovered this one just by like browsing on Goodreads. This is called Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. This is a fantasy, romance, adult fiction, historical fiction, historical, whatever. But it had really good ratings, so that's why I picked it. Sorry. So it is a novel. And it is described as Cambridge professor Emily Wilde is good at many things. She is the foremost expert on the study of fairies. She is a genius scholar and a meticulous researcher who is writing the world's first encyclopedia of fairy lore. But Emily Wilde is not good at people. She could never make small talk at a party or even get invited to one, and she prefers the company of her books, her dog, Shadow, and the fair folk to other people. This is kind of like a shy girl, light academia. So when she arrives in the hardscrabble village of Hrafnsvik, I don't know, Emily has no intention of befriending the research and utterly confound and frustrate her. But as Emily gets closer and closer to uncovering the secrets of the hidden ones, the most elusive of all fairies lurking in the shadowy forest outside the town, she also finds herself on the trail of another mystery. Who is Wendell Bumblebee and what does he really want? To find the answer, she'll have to unlock the greatest mystery of all, her own heart. Oh, it's so cute. It just sounds so cute. See, I love romance within another, like, wider plot, and that just like, that sounds amazing. I did not fully read it before, and now I'm so excited to read that. Alright. This is gonna be quite a long video to edit. So I'm gonna do a couple of rapid fire ones because I cannot read all of the things. Alright. So I'm gonna read Gone Girl, I Want to Read by Gillian Flynn. And I'm sure you know this, so I don't have to explain this to you. But Waterstones has like an extended edition, and that's the one I want, with the extra chapter. Then I want to finally read Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng. That's been sitting on my shelf for a long time. Then I want to read Night Crawling by Layla Motley. I want to read Richard Osman's The Man Who Died Twice. Jonason's The 100-Year-Old Man Who Climbed Out of the Window and Disappeared. Sarah Vaughan's Anatomy of a Scandal. I started reading that, I need to just finish it. Paula Hawkins, The Girl on the Train. Stacey Wellingham's I Can See a Flicker in the Dark. This is like all of the things that have been sitting on my shelf and that I intended to read like last year, but I didn't have time. I want to read Rachel Gillig, I think how you pronounce it, One Dark Window. It is the first book in the Shepherd King series. I want to read Adrienne Young, Spells for Forgetting. Something classic, I want to read Daphne du Maurier, Rebecca. I found out that Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas has a book, or it was actually a book, I don't know, by Hunter S. Thompson, so that one, maybe I'll get to it. I'm not like super keen on this book, but everyone's been talking about it. This is like at the very end of my list. My Year of Arrest and Relaxation by Odessa Moshfegh. I'm not like super curious about it, but yeah. And again, the same sentiment goes with this one, but this is a very famous book by Stieg Larsson, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, which is like the first one in the Millennium series. Kevin Wilson, Now Is Not the Time to Panic. We have The Herd by Emily Edwards. Also, I want to read Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn. Tell Me Lies by Carola Lovering. authors. I cannot remember his actual name, but Luna Wolf, the first book in the Moon Alpha by G. Bailey, I think. And this is like obviously like a wolf, like fantasy. You know, I wanted to read something like fun and kind of like a guilty pleasure. Yeah, and then I'm gonna read you a couple of things that I've been really looking forward to. So one of them is If We Were Villains by ML Rio. And this is like a mystery fiction thriller. Oliver Marks has just served 10 years in jail for a murder he may or may not have committed. On the day he's released, he's greeted by the man who put him in prison. Detective Colborne is retiring, but before he does, he wants to know what really happened a decade ago. So this will be like, I think you'll be interested in this if you like true crime, because it's like a fiction mystery thriller. As one of 7 young actors studying Shakespeare at an elite arts college, Oliver and his friends play the same roles on stage and off. Hero, villain, tyrant, temptress, ingenue, extra. But when the casting changes and the secondary characters usurp the stars, the plays spill dangerously over into life, and one of them is found dead. The rest face their greatest acting challenge yet, convincing the police and themselves that they are blameless. I mean, if this doesn't sound like it's fun, amazing, I don't know what does. It sounds so fun to me. Alright, this one is super highly rated. It came out last year in August. It's called The Serpent and the Wings of Night, and this is the first book in the Crowns of Nyaxia, I don't know, and it is by Carissa Broadbent. The adopted human daughter of the Nightborn Vampire King. It's a vampire book. Oriah carved her place in a world designed to kill her. Her only chance to become something more than prey is entering the Kishari, a legendary tournament held by the goddess of death herself. But winning won't be easy amongst the most vicious warriors from all 3 vampire houses. To survive, Oriah is forced to make an alliance with a mysterious rival. Everything about Rain is dangerous. He is a ruthless vampire and a vision killer. You can see where this is going. An enemy to her father's crown and her greatest competition. I mean, you can see where this is going, and wow. I mean, yet, you can see where this is going. What terrifies Oriah most of all is that she finds herself oddly drawn to him. Obviously. Enemies to lovers. There you go. Very highly rated. Go and read The Serpent and the Wings of Night. So, but their blossoming attraction could be her downfall in a kingdom where nothing is more deadly than love. The book descriptions like get me. So funny. Then this one. I'm looking forward to a lot of mystery and thriller this year. This one also was published last year, and it is by Ruth Ware, Ruthware, and it is called The It Girl. Vivacious, bright, occasionally vicious, and the ultimate it girl, she quickly pulled Hannah into her dazzling orbit. glass behind her, Hannah's world is rocked when a young journalist comes knocking and presents new evidence that Neville may have been innocent. As Hannah reconnects with old friends and delves deeper into the mysteries of April's death, she realizes that the friends she thought she knew all have something to hide, including a murder. Another thriller mystery fiction. Oh, thriller mystery. This is by Julia Dahl, and I've been wanting to read this for a while, and it's called The Missing Hours. From a distance, Claudia Castro has it all. A famous family, a trust fund, thousands of Instagram followers, and a spot in NYU's freshman class. But look closer, and things are messier. Her parents are separating. She's just been humiliated by a sleazy documentary, and her sister is about to have a baby with a man she barely knows. Claudia starts the school year resolved to find a path towards something positive, maybe even meaningful, and then one drunken night everything changes. Reeling, her memory hazy, Claudia cuts herself off from her family, seeking solace in a new friendship. But when the rest of school comes back from spring break, Claudia is missing. Suddenly the whole city is trying to piece together the hours of that terrible night. From the critically acclaimed author of Invisible City and Conviction. This novel is about oppression, privilege, and the explosive consequences of one violent act. So, I'm really looking forward to that one. A lot of thriller. Alright guys, this